Will, it is now interesting that I recognize the view out your window.
See, exactly, Joe. See, that's how you know where we are. That's good. I'm glad you got some context. I won't blur it.
Perfect.
Here, let me go that way and you can see the trains go by. See the trains.
Yeah, but it just makes me feel like being outside more now.
See, how about that? See,
Amber's replaced. Okay, we're officially live on YouTube.
Gotcha. Thanks, Bobby. I'll turn it
No
over
problem.
to Melanie to be good to go. We're ready.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, thanks. Welcome everyone to today's executive committee meeting about November 14th. And first we'll start with who is here in person. So Melanie Clark, welcome. And we've got staff, Jennifer Whitlow,
Joe Kuiper.
Amber Wood, I'm your new Office Attorney General counsel.
and then online, I'll start with Will.
Well, if you introduce yourself, do we have to say why they're absent? They're more than 50 miles away.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you just introduce yourself to Ambria and you have to state a reason why you're going virtual. And I think you're 50 miles away, so I think that counts.
yeah, I was like, well, Clemens, just a distance, more than 50 miles away for this meeting. Thank you.
And Lauren.
Lauren Woodson, and I believe I'm 59 miles away.
All right, thank you for being here.
Lauren is our secretary. Will is our treasurer. Lauren's been on the board for, are you coming up on 5 years?
I think I started in August of 22, so 3.
Right, 3 years. Okay. And then Will is in his first year, but we took advantage of his skill and background and willingness to help to become our secretary.
Treasurer.
Sorry, treasurer. Yes, sorry. Thank you.
I'll do any, Joe, I'll do anything you'd like. How about that? But I'll do anything about that.
Well, thanks for being here virtually. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So we do not have a quorum, so we'll table the August 8th minutes for our next meeting. And as you've seen, we've had some pretty important developments since we last met, including 2 new board members. Sarah Bowman of Callaway, who works at the Tallman Museum of Art in Roanoke, and then Dr. Mindy Vandevetter from Richmond, who is a teacher with Henrico County Public Schools.
And she also has an appointment with VCU, so I'm still wrapping my head around how all that works. But she has important connections between the university and the public schools, which might be useful for us.
Okay. And so that leaves us with 2 vacant seats, which are Jennifer and Ann's. And we anticipate those will be filled this calendar year before the governor office changes hands. Do you have any update on that?
I don't, except that I spoke with the secretary earlier this week, Wednesday, maybe Monday, I don't remember. And he specifically said if we have any names to recommend, it would be a good time to do it. So if any board member has someone, I know that most governors, or at least all the ones I've been exposed to so far, try to fill all the seats before they're out of office. So.
Okay. All right. And then we're also watching the broader Virginia economy and budget environment closely. In that context, of course, matters as we think about long-term sustainability, our Waynesboro advocacy, and how we also use the tremendous resources that we now have available thanks to the generous donation of Frank from Ariel's. And we're also, as we referenced at our last meeting, optimistic that the communications from the board and staff and even the foundation with Richmond will result in assistance to help us with staff retention. Some more to come on that. And I will turn things over for the financial report. First quarter revenues, expenses seem to be tracking well, so I will turn this over to Will.
Well, I was not gonna take up your day too long. We've got a full set of financials and everything for tomorrow's meeting, but revenues are right in place where we expected. Expenses are mostly within plan, just a few small overages based on some operating costs, but that's that's what happens when you're making changes and doing upgrades. Like noted earlier, we have very fortunate with to receive that new endowment gift, and really happy to make a difference with that and move forward. I think it's aligns well with our goals, and things look steady to me. We're in a good position. If that's sufficient for the board's purposes.
It is for me.
Thank you. And kudos to the staff once again for their excellent work on preparing the financials, keeping the numbers in line.
I'll just add to that um, uh, the budget is fine. We do anticipate that we will be tight, just like we were last fiscal year. And so getting on sometime around May, what we do just to be cautious, and it's a pain in the neck for me, but it works well, that basically all staff who are going to do any kind of spending have to run a purchase order through my office. And then I, in consultation with Jonathan, just double check to make sure everything's going to be good. And it's worked pretty well. We've done that in the past as well. So, but that's just our projection going forward, unless something comes way in under budget as the year progresses, or if we get some unexpected revenues. The budget should be tracked right on with sufficient funds to carry over to start payroll for the next fiscal year.
Okay. And I believe this will be the first board meeting we've had since we received the donation.
Yes, like a week or two after.
Okay, so I would anticipate some discussion maybe about that, even though you've shared things. Okay.
Yeah, so when we get to my report, I was going to include something in that could be part of the generative discussion in tomorrow's full board meeting.
Okay, I don't know, Will, if you might just if it comes up, just reference that Joe's gonna, or I will do that just to make sure while it's financial that he'll address that if that's.
Oh, yes. Now I'll make sure it's discussed to make sure the talking stick is passed to the appropriate person for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
All right, and any questions for Will? Okay, thanks, Will.
You're welcome.
Joe, if you'll walk us through your report, covering operations, active search committees, et cetera.
Yeah, so staff have prepared some slides to kind of make things a little more visually appealing for tomorrow. But what we're going to start with here is under operations. You've heard a lot about these things in emails and whatnot, so I'll give the brief overview. If anyone wants me to dive deeper into the details, I can. Bones and Booze was a great community celebration. We had slightly less people than previous years, maybe about 150 or so less. We were about 1850, with about 1,000 of those utilizing the Museums for All program, therefore getting free admission. But the revenues were still very good. Part of the reason I think that the numbers were a little lower is there was a lot going on. It was really good for the community. The YMCA had some programming, Uptown had some programming, there was a race on, and they had a lot going on. So the fact that we were pretty close to what we've normally gotten was encouraging. So we're very pleased with that. Kind of jumping operationally from different departments for the Homeschool Science and Engineering Academy. This is the first year we've run 2 sessions simultaneously. That is, we have a morning session, morning session, afternoon session during Homeschool Wednesdays. All of them are full and there's a waiting list. So, but we are completely at capacity with that. It just shows that we have a growing population here that we're keeping our finger on the pulse with. As far as some events and so forth, Melanie was a participant, and so was Jennifer in our and Bobby was a participant as well in our Natural History of Chocolate event. It was kind of a pilot to see how people would respond. We capped it at 50. We almost sold out. It was $100 a plate, which for around here is kind of on the high end. And if anyone wants to talk more about that, about having some kind of matching program in the future because everyone was very enthusiastic about it. There are some challenges to jump over, and I will just say the main one being that our chef was incredibly generous, did not charge, actually supplied some help, and loaned us serviceware and so forth. So if we're going to do something like that, we just have to keep that in mind. So that means either increasing the price or finding another very generous chef. And I would not want to take advantage of Janet Ashby, our local chef, too badly. So that can be a discussion at any point. Also upcoming, we have the VA 250 celebration, which is statewide. We are in the midst of pulling together the exhibit materials. So that should be good. And please keep in mind that February 19th, which is a Thursday, we will have a members event here celebrating Thomas Jefferson, and we'll have all kinds of fun things. We're going to have a lecture. Again, there'll be the exhibit. We're going to have a sampling of beer made using Thomas Jefferson's actual recipe, Monticello, and so forth. So it should be a nice thing to engage our membership and tell them thank you for their support. And then lastly, for your calendars, you're probably aware that we've run the Speakeasy on Starling each spring. We are going to change that up this year. The staff have gotten creative, and I do not ask me a question about any of this because it's just over my head. But if you're familiar with the program Bridgerton,
Of course.
okay. Oh, of course. Thanks, Will. Right? I didn't know what the heck it was talking about. Well, we're going to have Starlington on 21 March 1st, right? And so there will be announcements about what the theme is and so forth. When we ran Speakeasy, we always made money, but it was never meant to be a fundraiser. We always came out ahead with seed money for the following year. It's again a way to look forward or look outward towards the community and to engage them in a fun way. I really think it helps shores up annual fund donations, memberships, and general support. And we do get companies that in their corporate partnership want to have their name associated with it. So they will put their name on that event. So it's a good event to run and the staff have fun with it. So I'm very curious to see, and I'm going to have to get some input on what I'm supposed to wear that night. All right. Next on the list is search committees. We completed the search for a new exhibit manager. She starts Monday, so she will be the staff introduction at the board meeting in February, if all works out schedule-wise and so forth. She's very young, but she has a degree in industrial design and a master's in museum studies or something like that. There's some combination there, and she also already has museum experience in which she has curated some museum exhibits, not natural sciences, but that wasn't part of the request, right? We want someone who can take information and interpret it and create attractive exhibit design, and her portfolio is excellent. So we look forward to having her here on Monday. Curator of herpetology, we are in the midst of preliminary interviews right now. Those will conclude on Monday. We will bring in-person candidates in, probably 3, and most likely either in early December or sometime in January. Those will involve a technical talk during their tour of the museum as well as a public talk. So we will make those available to any curious board member who would like to come and hear from these folks. And let me just say the applicant pool was really, really good. It's very impressive.
Nice.
So capital projects, the usual mix of challenges in progress. G.S. Adams Education Pavilion, of course, is completely done, and the you'll see in some of the images tomorrow that we already have programming going on out there. It's been well received. Douglas Avenue, we have requested approval of the schematic design for it, which is going to be HVAC to begin with. No, sorry, asbestos removal to begin with, HVAC installation to follow, and then there's going to be a certain amount of money, and that's kind of what we're working on right now to do some let's just call it aesthetic repair. So redoing of the floors, which we removed carpeting from, which had a lot of glue and so forth on it. There are some walls that before we got the roof repaired, the walls deteriorated, so we'll have to have some drywall work and so forth. So it really is just going to depend upon our priorities and how far that goes. So that'll be the first tranche of money. The second bit that we've already are approved for, but we still have to request its use. We will have a second tranche of money to spend after that, and we hope that work will be done here in 2026. And I've given them the ultimatum that the project must be done before we submit a progress report to American Alliance of Museums. So they said that is completely reasonable. And lastly, VMNH Waynesboro, we had all the formalities are done with detailed design. We do have a request in to the governor, and we have a letter writing campaign that apparently went really well because everyone seems to mention it. So I think we have all the support that we could possibly hope for. It's really just going to be a matter of what the governor sees upcoming and what he wants to do. The headwinds, of course, is that while things like the rainy day fund and whatnot are going to be really full, the governor will probably have about $2 billion to play with in this upcoming budget. But still, he's not a capital projects kind of guy. That's not his thing. So we'll see where that goes. The new governor, I got to get used to this. I have stage fright now. Spanberger, thank you. So Governor Spanberger, we don't know what her priorities will be yet. We won't really know those until the Governor Youngkins come out, and we'll see what happens. The anticipation is that the Democratic Party will probably take a lot of what's in the governor's budget and kind of work on it, right? That's the anticipation from what we hear. So we've got a lot of variables to work through, and we have you'll hear more with the Waynesboro Advocacy Committee report tomorrow that there is a plan going forward as far as continued advocacy following the release of the governor's budget a month from now. And the last thing I have to report is relation to VMNH Waynesboro. The trailer is in North Carolina, the outreach trailer. I can't remember what I've reported to who recently, so I'm sorry if I'm being in any way repetitive. The word we got is that it will never be a mobile unit again, right? So it's 20 years old. They said that it would be much cheaper to buy and retrofit a brand new trailer than it would ever be to fix this one and make it mobile. To be a stationary unit will not be a problem. And the estimates for their work, we had $100,000 set aside in maintenance reserve funds for this. And the estimated work is around $55,000 to $60,000. So we're well within budget for that. And that will give us, they'll haul it back to the Waynesboro lot, and we can use that in our programming. And the city has agreed, I have to work on this once it gets back, but the city has agreed that yes, they can hook that trailer up to the nearby power poles. We don't have to worry about renting a generator for it. So we can use that at their festivals. We can use it for our advocacy and so forth. So we hear more about that. And then lastly, strategic plan, which likely we won't be able to vote on. We met with the strategic planning committee, and they seem to be satisfied with it. Everyone has a copy of it. If we're not going to vote on it, maybe there's an opportunity that we can talk about it. I feel pretty confident with the objectives that are in there and the timeline that's noted within the plan. And in the agenda, you see application of new resources. I will kind of give you our thought going forward, and I think this could be a point of discussion about the strategic use of the new endowment. So just to back up on that endowment, it's last we looked, it's $5.7 million. Most of that is unrestricted, so we may use that how we want as far as the interest. The foundation parked the money in short-term CDs, which should mature in January, I believe. That's going to give us about $20,000 to get started. It will then get it will then get invested with the current endowment, which has been doing very well. And we're going to then the foundation has already, or at least the foundation finance committee has already agreed to the idea that during these first 2 years, we will use all of the revenues to make a substantive impact on the museum, so we can put Mr. Merrill's name up on the Young Explorer Center, show the transformation of the gift, and so forth. Then following that, starting I think 2027, we'll move to a 5% spending rule. So we will spend 5% on the interest on designated projects. Anything above 5% will get reinvested back to grow the endowment. And so we'll have to get into a new annual habit of at the August board meeting to generate a request to the foundation for projects to fund. So that's going to be a brand new day for us, really. I mean, we get X number of dollars in our appropriation. We anticipate X number of dollars in revenues and foundation support. But this is going to greatly magnify the latter. And so it's going to be much different board meetings, and I think in a positive way, right? So anyway, where we see things going, at least short term, obviously the Young Explorer Center is our first priority, and I'm going to, in a moment, I'll pass the baton over to Jennifer about that. Once, or actually during the improvements of the old library space to create Young Explorer Center, we're also going to create the Petra exhibit where the Discovery Reef is now. So paleontology is already prepared to take the skeleton and have her ready for exhibit, and the Virginia Cave Conservancy is also going to step up and help us with interpretation. So that's awesome. Going further, so first of all, Young Explorer Center is one of the specific objectives within the strategic plan. Petra covers 2 objectives pertaining to exhibits storytelling. In 2027, we're going to be developing some new exhibit ideas, which I won't go into deeply here. We have a Smithsonian exhibit already scheduled to come for, I think, a 6-month period. We're also, paleontology is working on a trilobite exhibit, which will be a traveling exhibit, which is objective 1.6 within the strategic plan. And just for fun, Southern Methodist University has agreed to loan us an exhibit piece, which I think is going to be kind of cool, though. I feel bad because where this would go is right underneath Christie's office. And why do I feel bad about this? It is a giant 3D printed dinosaur skull, a duck-billed dinosaur, the hadrosaurs, with a big crest on it. And the reason they had these crests was to magnify their voice. This 3D print is actually anatomically correct on the outside, but also on the inside due to CAT scanning of skulls. And so there's an electronic device, which is, I don't know how it works and don't understand it, but people can come up to the rear of the skull and utilizing their mouth shape and breath, they can actually try to recreate the call of the hadrosaur. Right. And so we're going to be developing a little bit. This is going to be a small exhibit, and it's going to be part of the special exhibit hall, but it's going to be completely different. And they're just really cool about it. We met with them and they're like, yeah, we've never really thought about putting this in a museum, but because they had it in their own museum and they did some other stuff with it, but they're willing to loan it. So that's kind of a new development there. Last couple things in the strategic plan, objective 1.10 is further connections with Wilson Park. That may also include a long-term look, kind of a stretch goal for a canopy walk, but there are other things we can do. And then also during this 5-year period, something else these new resources can help us with is the visualization of a new wing. That is not to get all the way into the pre-planning and detailed design of a new wing, but we have to start somewhere. We need a specialist to come and tell us what we can and can't do, right? So we'll need to bring in a little expertise for that. So coming later on in this 5-year plan, we can perhaps come up with some sort of preliminary master plan for that work. So those are some of the things that we immediately saw that we could take advantage of in the strategic plan by coupling the new resources with it. But I think that can really be a point of discussion tomorrow. And if I may, I would like to turn things back around And I'd like to give everyone kind of an overview of where we've been going with the Young Explorer Center. And Jennifer's been a great kind of point person for that project for us. So what I'll do, Jennifer, is I'll share screen,
Here.
and then I'll hand the
Can you guys see that? Example of children's gallery?
Not yet.
Not yet. I think you have to
Glass is half full. We'll see it in a minute. Don't worry.
share the blue.
Oh.
There we go. Here it comes.
All right. Well, I'll leave it up to you whether you want to make that full size or however.
Okay. There we go. All right, so here is an example of a children's gallery. This is a really nice example that we've been looking at different things. We've been looking at colors, we've been looking at flooring, we've been looking at different elements that may be useful for children. We're thinking about the Young Explorer Center will be ages pretty much 2 and 3 up to like 3rd grade. So that age group is what we're looking for. Many of the things that we're looking at are interactive. Of course, we definitely want things that are interactive for this age group. And so those kinds of things that you see here, this is just one theme example. We don't have to necessarily go with a dinosaur theme or large animals hanging from the ceiling or anything like that. These are all just ideas. The main thing is to find out what children enjoy and what entertains them the longest amount of time. So we're looking at this here, and we actually have a mobile unit of this right here, and it's the thing that you put the balls in, like the little wiffle balls, and you create all kinds of physics and dynamics along with these trails and little pipes and things like that. So we think that this will be something that we would install against one of the walls to take up, so that it doesn't take up a lot of floor space. The room is about 1,600 square feet, 1,700 square feet. Right there. So it's not a huge room, but there is, there's some opportunities to make it really cool. So this is one of the main things that we're looking at. It's $4,000, but it's kind of like low tech, but super fun for children. This is another option that we have that we're thinking about. These are bones that you put together. They're kind of like really hard, foamy bones. And you can tell by these children who are working with them that it's rather large. So we're hoping that we can get a couple of these and put them into an area that children will be able to play with. And you can make, I think, about 4 different dinosaurs with the bones that you see here. So this is an interesting thing. Who knew? We definitely want to try to get these. These are the blue block set. They have lots of different blocks with different shapes, different convex, I guess, or something, with these different tunnels and different things that children can use. These really cool building, in experimental kind of things. And again, lots of kids, that's another thing that we found that is important. It's important for many children to be able to play with one thing, not just one kid at one station, but many children playing at the same time. We've got this idea here. This is a turntable. It's also pretty expensive, so not sure about this one. I like the fact that it's on rollers, so we could roll it in, roll it out. It's another thing we're thinking about, having some of the elements that we can change out so that things are still fresh at different times. This is a cool watercolor wall, which is kind of neat.
It's also pricey, but I think, one, these are meant to be inspirational, and 2, they are pricey, but I think we need to look at some higher end things as well as some of the more affordable ones, so but this will kind of get us started in terms of idea generation.
Right. Everything's on the table. I mean, what I'm going for is, let's just put it out there, and if we can't afford that, then, we'll just step down a few steps. But if we don't try to look at, if we don't try, we'll never get something that's going to be really grand. I want something really grand.
Yeah.
All right, the wind column. You see these a lot at different places. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds you of our room, because the library room has huge window, the big window in the front. So this room does kind of remind you, our ceilings are not quite that high. They're about maybe 12 foot, maybe.
I think they're 12 foot.
Okay, they're probably about 12-foot ceilings, so they're not super high. But this is just a thought. Pretty cool. Again, these are all rollers, so we could roll them around. This is something that a little smaller scale for the younger kiddos. Something with the magnets in the water and the little things there. That's kind of fun for them. The water play, 114 grand. So these things are not real cheap. They are pretty expensive, but now's the time. We only have one chance to get it right, unless we wait another 20, 25 years and we redo the whole thing. So this is our chance to get it right. So we did some discussion about the water, and we did talk to some staff who had younger children currently about the water. There are some drawbacks to the water, the sanitary things, and then just the mess and cleanup if it gets splashed everywhere. So I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, and let's remember, when Jennifer's talking about, getting it right, this is going to be the unveiling, right? So we want to make sure the unveiling is really, really good. All that said, the way I envision it is that we'll probably be chronically buying new elements and temporarily retiring others to keep the space fresh. So maybe some of these, higher end ones can be kind of a phase two, or we focus on one, that's going to be kind of the, I don't know, the keystone, the real feature of the space, and then surround it with other more affordable, but still very, energetic and educational experience as well. So many decisions to be made.
This last is just a schematic of what potentially it would look like in the room. This is the front door that you go in. These are those tall windows here. And so this is just, nothing's written in stone, of course. This is just kind of let us know exactly how things would actually fit in there. How many elements can we really truly fit in there, having a 3-foot radius around each one so that there's enough room for strollers and that sort of thing. And speaking of strollers, Christy has been taking her Doodlebug group, which are the young group, and she's done an informal survey of the moms and dads. And some of the things that they're looking for is a place to sit, a place to nurse, possibly, a place to park strollers, a place to put shoes and bags and things like that, like cubbies. So there are many aspects that we still need to think about as we develop the room and develop the theme of the room and the colors of the room. And so lots of work to be done, but still pretty exciting. We also hope to go to some of the nearby areas or nearby facilities and check out some of the children's areas. Maybe even we can just kind of be a fly on the wall for a little while, not creepy, but just a fly on the wall just for a little while, and really see what kids are what really entertains them for the longest amount of time. What are they really the hands-on? Because we think as adults, oh, they'll love it, they'll love this thing. And then if we get it and then they, it's not really useful, then that's not a success. So we want to be successful in every element we choose.
And I'll add to Jennifer's presentation that right now, at this moment, our first steps is we have some interior maintenance reserve projects that have to do with replacing some flooring, some doors, or at least in terms of the crash bars and the mechanicals associated with the doors, that after 18 years, they're just worn out. So we're going to be replacing some things like that. Some of that also needs to be done in this space. So we're going to do the maintenance reserve aspect of it first and foremost. Then that will also bleed out into the hallway. So if you go to the hallway right now, you might not notice, but we notice it all the time, that the wallpaper, it's the same wallpaper as this, but for whatever reason, it's peeling and it just doesn't look good. So it needs to be replaced anyway. We already have a firm lined up that once we start to get some money from the initial investment, they're going to come in, take the wallpaper down, put a new paint job up, and we'd have out of, is it Roanoke or Danville where the rap guy is?
I think it's Danville.
Yeah, it's Danville. So he's already looked at it, made some recommendations on how to brighten that hallway up to make it really attractive. So we plan to wrap the doors so that way people know they're going to a fun space. You open it up and you have this bright hallway, the paleontology labs over here. Of course, there's restrooms right there. And we're going to put some images up on the walls and so forth. Some of all that can be done with maintenance reserve funds. So we're going to get through that first. So that will stretch our dollars a bit in terms of improvements for the room. But maintenance reserve doesn't pay for painting. So when it comes to, are there just white walls in there?
They're just white.
Yeah. So, we're going to have to get creative, hire someone, or if staff feel pretty good, we'll talk to our new exhibits person as well. What will, we talked about, for instance, painting certain areas of the room to represent a different interactive space and so forth. So I'm hoping that this was also going to be a financial opportunity for us, because I would anticipate that more people would want to get family memberships to come here repeat times to bring their children and so forth. So
Right, because many of you don't know that there are really no other places for that age group in Martinsville or Henry County. So parents have nowhere to take their children of this age. So I think they'll really love it. They will really love it.
So we're looking for, we're looking for a combination of children's museum with a twist on our primary purpose, basically.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of these different elements that we illustrated in the slides here, they can be tied back to Virginia Science SOLs.
Right,
So,
perfect.
so that's why Christy's part of the team. She's kind of given us the essentially the go ahead. She's the gatekeeper. If it hits SOLs, we'll stick it in there. If it doesn't hit SOLs, we'll reconsider, because there are so many things that
Smart.
we could.
Yeah.
And there are challenges. I mean, I've got some ideas where people can park strollers, right? And when you see, these blue kind of locations here showing the space use, it's not going to be that much until that space gets full. And we have to think about things, like the seating. Do we put cubbies underneath the seating so it's not that we can double up on the space? Do we make sure that there are chargers associated with the seating, and so forth? So yeah, but I still think we'll end up with a really nice product when this is unveiled. We're shooting for first part of 2027 to have all the work done.
Thanks, Jennifer. This looks great. And are you going to share this tomorrow? Are we sharing that tomorrow?
Okay.
Or is that just for us?
It was specifically for you, but I mean, if you want to make that part, since we're talking about this new endowment gift, how we're going to be using it, the strategic plan, and this, of course, is one of the points of the plan, and we know it's part of our kind of business plan going forward. It might be good use of our time during the section. I mean, these are mission moments under research and collections, but we have a mission moment under education as well. So, I mean, I think it could certainly,
Okay.
fit that very nicely.
If we, there's a photo that was shared at the foundation meeting of Mr. Mariels and his three relatives.
Yeah.
And I would be happy to tee this up. To me, it is, it kind of left me speechless, but anyway, it's a photo of him. And it's the only time that we're aware of, and his family was aware of, that he's ever been to the museum. And he brought three boys that were relatives of his here, and they were at one of the exhibits that is still here that I have touched many of times with my children. And they were enjoying it. And like, all we can think is he enjoyed his visit so much, he picked us. And so for me, dollar amounts matter, but yes, I think Jennifer mentioned, like, our children here don't see those things. If you live in Richmond, you've got a handful of places to go to see things and touch things. And for families to be able to leave and talk about the wall or the water or the thing that they have never done, the experience, just for them to talk about science and talk about being engaged, and that it happened at the museum. So to me, the price tag, I've already heard what I need to hear. You have an amount and you're working within that. So I think it's just a great opportunity. And that picture of him and the three boys, just like touched my heart, because that space really isn't designed for families. Like, truly cubby, stroller, all the things. And so to have that space, I think, is really what we're all about, especially with the museum for all and just bringing families in. Sorry. Just, I would love to add that picture. I have it on my phone. I took a picture of it because it meant that much to me.
So, so as far as my director's report, that's what I have. Yeah, so it is exciting times. I mean, 2025 is going to go down as a pretty special year between AAM reaccreditation, the completion of detailed design for VMNH Waynesboro. The collections grew very well, and I'm skipping so many other things, but we received Frank's gift and whatnot. So it's kind of a turning point for the museum in a way.
Okay, this is yeah, this is great. Thank you. And we, as a reminder, just and I'm sure this will be shared tomorrow, I'll share it, but we are at our same budget, the museum, as we've been since 2008. And so, and yes, this donation was great, but it's no different than us if we were to come into we won the lottery. It doesn't solve everything forever. There are still expenses. It really just gives us the opportunity to make an impact in a particular area as it relates to the strategic plan and a space that we haven't been able to do anything with.
Mhm.
At the same time, remembering that like one project, you could spend all of that money. And so we still have things that we need to accomplish and still need to advocate. And our endowment is doing a great job too of this. This is just one donation of what we hope to receive of others. But anyway, just want to reiterate it. It's a lot, but it's not a lot when you're
Good to make durable decisions with it. That's a good.
Right.
There you go.
Okay, so for open discussion, I just wanted to mention at our last executive committee meeting, I did share I was going to sign letters for all the donors who contributed to the Genus Adams Pavilion, and I did do that, and thank you for getting those out. And I was going to ask you for the open discussion, since we do not have a quorum, can we have an open discussion with anyone can they participate? Can Lauren or Will participate in an open discussion since we don't have a quorum? Like if they want to bring up items, can they do that?
Yeah, they can talk about it. You just can't make any votes.
All right, so the floor is open. If anyone has anything they want to bring up.
This is maybe for Jennifer to make a note, as if you guys need more ideas about things to put in the the new area. But when we were talking through all of this and watching your presentation, there's and this is coming from a Parks and Rec background, and I've seen these used in lots of parks, but they're great indoors too. There's a company called Free Notes Harmony, and they have these musical instruments. They're like wind chimes and things like that. But the beautiful part of them is that no matter how they're played, they make a pleasant sound.
Yeah.
So you're not, and that might be a unique element. There's a lot of touch and see in there, but this might be something to add in. And they're designed to be outdoors. So in all these photos on their website, you see them in parks, but they have mobile pieces and ones that you can put up on the wall. So that might be something worth looking at that might add an extra element.
Nice. Well, that's what we're looking for because we're just kind of getting our feet wet. Again, underscore what Melanie was talking about. The funds that we'll get from the initial investments will not be anywhere near enough to hire a firm that does this for different institutions and then have them do the design and the install for us. So we need to talk to different companies and go direct to them, figure out what we want. Now they'll help. They want to sell this product, so they're definitely going to help us to some degree. But yeah, I mean, we need these ideas. So if any of the trustees or foundation board members have exposure to different companies that make products that would be appropriate, we really need to know that because children's museums, children areas is not my forte, right? So I know now to pay deep attention to such things. But before it was like, oh well, this is cool, But when I'm in an exhibit gallery in another museum, I'm looking deeply at the lighting. I'm looking at how the exhibit connects with the people, but still protecting the artifact. I'm not looking in the children's area. It's just it just isn't me. So so now this is a time where we all pull together to help in that area.
Well, did you have anything?
I was sorry, I was letting the train go by in case that was in case that was gonna bother you guys. But did I mean I know we have a lot of professionals in the room. Did we just tour a few other children's focused sites prior?
Yeah, Jennifer's been charged with that. So we have Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and Roanoke for sure. But there is also in Lynchburg, Lauren, you've got Amazement Square.
Yeah.
Good.
These
Okay,
are all
wonderful.
places
That's good.
that we're gonna have staff visit, and I'll be because I'm a glutton for punishment. I will be attending conference in St. Paul, Minnesota in February. So yeah, I'm going to trudge through the snow, and I'll be visiting a few places that have specific children areas, or I think there's also one children's museum that I'm going to go visit during that conference. So definitely borrowing ideas is a key part of the development of the center.
That's wonderful. I was gonna say imitation is the best form of flattery. So we're not starting this one ourselves. So that's
Definitely.
Perfect. If there's no further business, I'm not going to entertain a motion to adjourn because we can't do that. But just want to thank everyone for joining online. Thank you for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, Lauren, well, thank you very
thank
much.
y'all. Thank you for the dinner invitation. But I'll see you in a minute.
Lauren, see you next time.
Yes, Lauren.
Okay, thank you. Bobby, thanks a million.